Hi, welcome to the summary video for week 11 for our YL Wellness 17 program. Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Minke. This is Minke Wellness. And we've been doing the digestive system, so we continue with that. And we have actually 6 videos for this week that we're going to go over and summarize for this in this short summary. If you want to obviously get the full learning or teaching of the videos, you have to go back and watch each one. I can only give you a quick summary. So we start off talking about enzymes, digestive enzymes. There's a lot of confusion. A lot of people will confuse in the language what enzymes and probiotics. And I'll talk to them about, okay, you need to maybe consider taking a digestive enzyme. Oh, I'm taking my probiotic. And those are not the same thing. So please be clear and make a distinction between probiotics, which are bacteria that your lactobacillus and your other kind of bacteria that live in the gut, versus enzymes. These are digestive enzymes. These are enzymes. They are protein, little proteins that are manufactured by the body cells or in the plant cells, and those are there to break down food. They break down the protein they break proteins down into amino acids. They break carbohydrates, complex carbohydrates, down into simple sugars. They break fats into fatty acids and little short chains, and then they break the fiber down. So those are the 4 food groups, and our primary enzyme for digesting our food for the Young Living Arsenal is essential enzymes 4. Okay, so essential enzymes 4. That's the 4 food groups: protein, fat, carbohydrates, and fiber, and that's fabulous for helping us break down food. Why would we want digestive enzymes? Because our food is lacking enzymes. A lot of times our food is not fresh. Even if we ate lots of fruits and vegetables, those are all old. They've been but if we use them within literally hours of picking them out of the garden, or minutes of picking them out of the garden, they'll be fresh and the enzymes will be preserved. Once we throw this in the fridge, and the enzymes don't hold up. They're very fragile. They get oxidized very easily, and unless we have the super antioxidants of the essential oils protecting those, they get inactivated very, very quickly. So our food is dead, and we need to replace those enzymes in the food. So that's what the purpose of supporting or supplementing with digestive enzymes. It has not been my experience that the digestion stops making its own enzymes if we supply them, because a lot of the food is supposed to come with some enzymes, and we're actually using these to support that. So we have essential enzymes 4, then we have essential zyme, because sometimes it's a little confusing, essential enzyme 4, but that's the 4 food groups, and then essential zyme, and that's our press tablet that's designed to really support the pancreas function and what it does. And so if your body is really, really weak and tired and run down, and your basic functions are your own body functions are weak, then that's where you lean on essential zyme. If you're not digesting your food very well, or your food is really dead, that's what you use essential enzymes for. Now we have 2 other enzyme preparations, detoxzyme and allerzyme, and they kind of self-explanatory. I really like those because the pills are really small and it's easy to swallow. And we have a 5th product that I'm so grateful that we have this, because it's a chewable enzyme that tastes reasonably good, and the kids can use it. So a lot of kids cannot swallow capsules, and this enzyme has helped us through a lot of tight spots when the kids have eaten something that either we didn't know they were sensitive to, or someone knew they were sensitive to it and they ate it anyway. And so this is a great product, the Kids Zymes, Mighty Zymes. Okay, so those were our 5 enzymes from Young Living. Then we moved into talking about getting in touch with the pancreas, because I mentioned that the pancreas is one of those. It's one of those odd organs that gets classified not really with the digestive system. It actually gets classified in the endocrine system because it produces insulin. But it also produces pancreatic juices that are involved in digestion, helping digest mainly carbohydrates. And so those juices get secreted down into the duodenum, the upper part of the small intestine. We'll talk more about that in the next video. So the small intestine, or the pancreas, is there as a very secretory. It secretes all this digestive juices. So we did some breathing into the pancreas, and making a connection and remembering our imagery as we do our breathing of the rose bush. Okay, and so I used that imagery of breathing in to the pancreas and experiencing the rose bush, and really help to vitalize that. And keep in mind that again, what we're focusing on with this as we connect to the pancreas is not necessarily its insulin production, but its digestive juice production. Of course, we can bring the insulin into that picture, but I really wanted to make that distinction that we're kind of focusing our attention on the digestive support that the pancreas gives. And so that was our breathing and really vitalizing it, using our imagery with the rose bush and getting the nutrients and the sparkle, and then getting all the rose bush to flower and bloom, and really feeling and getting a connection to our pancreas and being grateful for that. Then we talked about doing some massage. We have our essential oil blends, the Di-Gize and the JuvaFlex, and we used the cosmetic version of those, recognizing that there is no difference between the essential oils that are contained in the Vitality line oils versus the cosmetic line. The only difference is the label. But when we're using an essential oil topically as a cosmetic, then we would show you the bottle that's labeled as a cosmetic. Just from a compliance standpoint. Okay, so we have the Di-Gize and the JuvaFlex, and I was enhancing the massage. Now, massage is great to help increase circulation and to relax the tissue and to help things get soothed and improve motility of the organs. The organs can get stuck and rigid, and we can go in and do a little massage. So I showed you some massage for the liver, and we used the JuvaFlex to enhance that massage, to give us that little tingle and touch on the skin. And then we did the massage on the stomach, and talked about the Di-Gize blend helping to support, helping us to enhance the massage for that. And now we have these two organs, two main digestive organs, stomach and liver, and we recognize that they actually rock. And so we did a little bit of feeling for the support as we kind of supported those organs and felt how they actually move. And so we want to encourage that movement. So I encourage you to go back and watch that video, because it gets into organ motility, and it's a very, very potentially very powerful tool to help an organ set back to where it's supposed to be. A lot of times organs can get, if we get an impact or something, we can get jarred, and it'll cause the organ to go into the momentary shock, and it stops moving. And organs are supposed to move. Everything's supposed to kind of give a little rock and roll and a little bit of movement, and they can get stuck, and it does impair their function. And so going in and actually caressing and helping nurturing the rocking and rolling of the organs for the liver and the liver and the stomach. Now, you could do that for any organ, but we just focused on the liver and stomach. Then we moved into the small intestine. So it was very anatomy heavy this week, but getting into the small intestine and the duodenum in particular, and recognizing that's really where the absorption is happening. The powerhouse of absorption, we talked a little bit about the microvilli. We're going to talk about that a lot more next week. But the little little fingers that project on the lining, and that's to absorb all these nutrients. So we did some breathing to really invite those nutrients to absorb into the bloodstream and make that connection with the small intestine. And we featured Digest and Cleanse as a fabulous supplement. And one of the reasons that's so powerful for the intestines is it passes through the stomach. It has a coating on it that allows it to get through the stomach, and it breaks open in the small intestine with those very soothing, powerful essential oils. And we did an entire video on the Digest and Cleanse and featuring that as sort of as a product review. So we went over that and talked about how it's very soothing and cleansing to the lining, and you can imagine that it helps to clean the grunge off of those little microvilli and really help with the absorption. So we talked a little bit about that. Now, the last part of the last video we did for the week was talking about these lifestyle changes that we know are difficult, and but it's one of those that we're taking this one lifestyle change at a time. If you're walking through our video series for the year, right, we're going over a whole year, and over the year we're making these changes. And this month our focus was laundry and dish soap, and these things can contain a lot of toxins in the commercial versions of these things. And so of course our wellness strategy is to stop poisoning ourselves. Why would we want to add more toxins in? And you might say, well, gee, that's just so peripheral. It's not in our food, so we don't really need to worry about it. Oh, no. Our skin absorbs these chemicals, and the FDA approved a lot of chemicals for cosmetic use before they knew for a fact that they were absorbed through the skin. And the European Union has actually banned hundreds of chemicals that are still used in American products. But they banned it based on the research that you and I paid for, our FDA and EPA research. And those chemicals were considered to be unacceptable because of their absorption through the skin and the impact on other things. And so yet we just continue to allow them because the lobby is now heavy enough that it will put a lot of influence and sort of make it hard to change a rule. Once something is approved, it's hard to get it unapproved, especially when you've got a political system that's prone to lobbying. So that's, I think, a big problem for keeping these clean. In other words, you and I cannot rely on the FDA to make good judgments necessarily about what is safe and what's not. You have to do your own research. And when you do that, you actually discover that there's a lot of toxic stuff. And in fact, sodium lauryl sulfate, for example, a common foaming agent, the thing that makes everything sudsy, is actually a mild neurotoxin. And it's starting to accumulate in fish in the ocean. We've put so much shampoo into the water that it's actually starting to show up as a neurotoxin. And it does accumulate slowly over time, and it becomes a mild neurotoxin. That's just one of the many thousands of chemicals that are present in our various cleaning solutions. In this case, we're talking about laundry and dish soap. And any of those chemicals that are in the laundry or fabric softener or anything like that ends up on our clothes and absorbs through the skin. And actually, what I forgot to mention in that video, what also I'll mention it here, is that there are parts of the body that are more absorbent than others. And so one of the research things that I read was that the genital area is 300 times more absorbent than the bottom of the feet. So if you have chemicals that are on your clothes, and in particular up against the genitals, because we're going to be covered at all times pretty much. We wear 24/7. We're wearing clothes up against our genitals. And we wonder why we have so many hormone problems in this country. So much issues with that kind of that issue of so many things going on with our organs, our reproductive organs, and so much hormonal disruption of that. And I think it's just all this absorption that just comes on in, and it coming in from all different places, but definitely through our skin, getting absorbed and going straight in to toxify the reproductive organs. So we definitely don't want hormone disrupting chemicals, which are those fragrances, synthetic fragrances that are present in these cleaning solutions. So please, please, please clean up your laundry and your dish soap. And Young Living has these fabulous replacements for those on all natural laundry and all natural dish soap. And so there's really no excuse. And we can throw the money out as an excuse, but the bottom line is, you're going to pay for it in health at some point. So make those changes. And if you haven't made those changes, you don't know. You don't really recognize. And so until you make those changes, and you will, at some point, you'll decide to make that change. And so you clean it up, and you don't have, and then you go to visit your sister or your mother or something, and they have the standard junk that's on there, and you try to use their towel, you use their bathroom, and you go and you put and you're like, ooh, what is this stuff? And you smell it, and it's like, oh, what is this smell? And you realize how, because you've been away from it for a month or 2 months, you start to realize how toxic this stuff really is. And you don't know that unless you give it up at home. Okay, so if you're still smelling it all the time at home, you need to go back and watch my video for the most dangerous toxin in your home, which is synthetic fragrances, which is loaded up in your laundries and dish soap. And so make sure that you get a free and clear if you're not going to afford the Young Living, which I think you should. But if you're not going to afford the Young Living, then definitely at least get a free and clear, get a laundry soap that has no synthetic fragrances in it, and see where you go from there. Okay, so that's the week in review. I know it's a lot, so hang in there. And this is you keep going. We're almost 3 months in, so hang in there. I know it can be overwhelming, but don't worry about it. Just catch it when you can. Do your part. Do what you can. Make your good decisions. Keep making good decisions. And every time you make a good decision, it gets easier and easier to do that. So just encouraging you to keep on going with the program. And even if all you can do is catch these weekly reviews, then that's okay. It would be nice if you could do it daily, because we could need those daily reminders. But at least you're keeping up if you can at least catch these. Okay, so happy wellness. We'll go for another week. Hang in there.